The short-lived martial law order has sent shockwaves through not only political circles, but also financial markets. Joining us in the studio is our financial correspondent, Moon Hye-ryeon, to tell us how the country has been responding to the fallout. Hye-ryeon, how has this development impacted the financial markets and economy so far?
Well, Jung-min, South Korea's market turbulence following the short-lived martial law order on Tuesday is actually beginning to stabilize now as finance authorities respond to the situation and investigations make some headway. But in the days following President Yoon Suk Yeol's declaration of martial law and the subsequent lifting of it, the country's stock markets and currency plummeted to multi-year lows amid a prolonged impeachment standoff. The benchmark Kospi dipped well below the 2,400 mark this Monday to its lowest in over a year, while the tech-heavy Kosdaq closed at its lowest in nearly 5 years. Individual investors in particular sold a total of more than 1 trillion Korean won on the same day, nearly $700 million in net sales across the two markets. The Korean won also fell against the greenback to its lowest in more than 2 years. But over the past few days, the stock market showed signs of stabilization as the Kospi and Kosdaq closed up for a third consecutive trading session on Thursday.
Given all this, what's been the response from the government and central bank?
Right, well, South Korea's finance ministry and the central bank have been maintaining their emergency response systems for more than a week now. And since this shock declaration last Tuesday night, finance authorities, including the likes of Finance Minister Choi Sang-mok and the Bank of Korea's Governor Lee Chang-yong, have been holding daily emergency meetings to assess the day-to-day situation and to discuss contingency plans. After declaring that they were ready to deploy unlimited liquidity into markets, the central bank began special repo operations to control the money supply. Repo operations, short for repurchasing agreement, is a short-term borrowing arrangement where the BOK is essentially lending money to financial institutions to ensure that there is enough money circulating in the economy. The country's financial regulator also spoke of a stock market stabilization fund that could be used if necessary, while an around-the-clock task force has been established to respond to emergency situations as they arise. And amid all this economic instability, one group that is particularly affected is small business owners. In a survey that came out this afternoon, nearly 90% of small business owners responded that they experienced a decline in sales after the martial law declaration. This is why the government went ahead to roll out some pre-planned measures to support them. These measures include plugging additional funds to support low-interest loans for small businesses and easing the eligibility criteria for a program that enables extensions for loan repayment.
Now, what about the international community? And I want to ask, how important is it for Korea to maintain investor confidence moving forward?
So a key focus of the government's efforts to stabilize the economy right now is external credibility. So in short, this is to relay the strength of the country's economic fundamentals to international agencies and foreign governments. And here is what Finance Minister Choi Sang-mok said.
The country's economic team will do all it can to stabilize the economy as much as possible. We will actively communicate with foreign investors and the international community to ensure there's no disruption to our international credibility.
Over the past few days, finance leaders have been engaging in interviews with foreign media outlets, diplomatic meetings with foreign ambassadors in the country, as well as virtual meetings with finance chiefs overseas and chambers of commerce and industry for various regions. International credit ratings remain stable, highlighting Finance Minister Choi's claims that the impact of the martial law incident has been limited on the South Korean economy.
Even though we had martial law, the real economy, production and exports are not really affected at all. So there's no reason to cut the credit ratings right now.
It is also important to think about other external factors such as U.S. President-elect Donald Trump's protectionist policies that are weighing in on the country's economic slowdown, notably reflected in the downward revisions of next year's economic growth projections from major institutions prior to the martial law incident.
All right, Hye-ryeon, we'll keep an eye out for future developments. Thank you for the report.
Thank you for having me.